Hey y'all, little Sunday thoughts here. Just got back from a long Sunday morning session. Quite a few people. Could be a Sunday thing, I don't know. Happens in all sports, of course, where you just show up and you're just not hitting the ball right, and you just don't have that feel. So let's talk about what you can do in those scenarios, because it's going to happen to you. It happens to me, happens to everyone, happens in all sports, happens in pickleball, of course. There's something that you can control. Like, some coaches in the past, some very high level coaches in sports always say defense can always be there, right? So similar to that in pickleball, your kitchen arrival percentage can always be really high, whether you're playing great that day or you're not. We've talked about it in the past. There's multiple ways to do it. You can just hit your return of serve a little higher and slower, which allows you more time to get up to the kitchen. I call it cheating the clock. That's going to raise your kitchen arrival time significantly. As the server yourself, just split step there. Quit running through your thirds and fifths and sevenths. Just get a nice base there, and don't beat yourself up over not hitting a perfect third. There's always time to hit a fifth and a seventh and reset that ball if you need to. If you just get yourself in that mindset of just understanding that your kitchen arrival time will actually cut down on a lot of your unforced errors, because you'll just be in a better position. As fun and as deep as this game can get, it really comes down to those simple things like that. Kitchen arrival time percentage. The team that makes it up to the kitchen just wins. And I know it just sounds weird to make it sound that simple, but it kind of is that simple, really. The things that you're not seeing is when you make it up there, you're cutting down on the angles, and you're just being able to hit your volleys much crisper. You're catching that ball before it dips on you and makes it more difficult. So stop, and just, so you're having one of those terrible days, just stop for a second and just tell yourself, communicate it with your partner. If it's someone that you get along with well, just say, hey, I'm going to try to get up to that kitchen line. I'll meet you there. Get yourself both on the same storyline there, and it will change everything. All right, what am I doing here? Reset paddle cleaner. I've been using this for a couple of years now. They've even got travel sizes. This is really cool. Comes with your own microfiber towel. Works excellent. I know a lot of you guys still like to use like the rubber erasers and stuff like that. I don't know what the actual science says behind rubbing that on your paddle, but we're all getting more cognizant of our grits wearing down. And I, as a amateur engineer, I just can't imagine that rubbing that eraser on there doesn't wear your paddle out a little faster, and this doesn't, in my opinion. Cleans it just as good, if not better. Let's talk about a couple of these paddles that I'm cleaning up today. So these are some of my favorite paddles that have ever been made, not just favorite paddles this month or this year. Some of my favorite paddles that have ever been made. This is the GX2 Power from Gearbox. Some could argue this was the first foam paddle. It's got those vertical carbon fiber ribs filled with foam there. So if you want to look at it that way, that really probably was the very first foam paddle. How do you like that? Love that paddle. The RPM Q2. Oh my goodness. I'm not really a big, this is the 16 millimeter, by the way. Not really a big elongated player, but with that flat top on there, to me it plays way more similar to a hybrid than an elongated. Love that paddle. The 11624 Ultra, played with that most of today. Fantastic paddle. Not quite as much pop as the previous two, but a lot of control as well. Just a nice paddle. The Havoc 2 from Maverix Pickleball. This is still a sleeper. It just amazes me how much of a sleeper this paddle is. I'll pull this out and people will just be like, what the heck is that? With the unique shape there. You know, you might have seen that shape with some of the Tesla Selkirk paddles. You know, where did they get that idea at? Pretty sure Maverix had that going way before they did. Fantastic paddle, the way they moved the weight from there, brought it more down closer to your hand. This paddle is just a great foam paddle. Totally addicted to foam paddles, if you can't tell. You can get a discount on any of these paddles with my code if you want to, also with the Reset paddle cleaner. So the next time you guys are out and you just find yourself struggling, just change it. Forget about how hard you're hitting the ball, forget about the spin you're putting on the ball. Get that kitchen arrival time percentage up and everything else will fall into play. All right, we'll see you guys soon.